So far is between 12 to 15 billion to rebuild that market.
You are welcome from Highland. Thank you, sir.
Governor Simon Lalong of Plateau State visits Aso Rock. Security and support towards the rebuilding of the Jos main market top discussion.
The service chiefs will be meeting with me in my office for us to address a few issues.
Newly appointed service chiefs formally take over mantle of leadership. Presidency alert on plot to deploy the media for smear campaign against President Muhammadu Buhari. Plus, Sultan of Sokoto interface with Mieti Allah on the state of the nation. Hello and a very warm evening to you, and thanks for joining us on NTA Network News. We are live in Abuja. I am Jummai Yusuf. Kemi joins us from Ibadan, and we have Adiola in Lagos. Thanks so much for joining us. We begin with the presidency. President Muhammadu Buhari is in Daura, Katsina State, on a 5-day official visit. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports that the president was given a befitting reception on arrival at Umaru Musa Yar'Adua International Airport, Katsina. On hand to receive him were a high-powered Katsina State government delegation led by Governor Aminu Bello Masari. Others were Deputy Governor Maniria Kubu, Minister of Aviation Hadi Sirika, State Party Chairman, State Chief Judge, and the Speaker of the State Assembly. President Buhari, who inspected a ceremonial guard mounted by a detachment of the Nigerian Army, proceeded to Daura by helicopter. While in Daura, the president is expected to participate in the APC membership registration and update of its register towards improving on the support base of the governing party. President Buhari considers the exercise as a very important one for the nation's democracy and its yearning for good leadership as a requirement of the process of nation building. The Emir of Daura, Umar Farouk, led prominent members of the community to welcome the president at Daura helipad. Now, Governor Simon Lalong of Plateau State has made a passionate appeal for assistance by the federal government towards rebuilding the iconic Jos main market. The governor, who made the appeal at an audience with President Muhammadu Buhari, also discussed with the Nigerian leader issues relating to the security, the appointment of new service chiefs, and the coronavirus. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo has details.
You are welcome from Highland. Thank you, sir.
It was the first formal engagement between President Muhammadu Buhari and Governor Simon Lalong of Plateau State, who is also the chairman of the Northern Governors Forum in the new year. He is here to express their appreciation and support the president for the launch of Alternate School Program Initiative, his commitment towards reviving the NNDC, offsetting backlog of entitlements owed disengaged staff of the new Nigeria newspapers, as well as the appointment of new service chiefs.
We're in a new year and we're seeing new actions in the interest of the country, and to assure him of our general support. The change of service chiefs is very commendable, and I also remind him about some of the outstanding things that was left behind by their predecessors, so that we can hasten and conclude them to make people safe, especially that we had serious cases of banditry, kidnapping, and so many issues of insecurity in the country. So we are going to give the maximum cooperation to the new service chiefs. In February, the whole northern governors are going to meet with traditional rulers to look at ways of addressing youth restiveness and also issue of traditional council, which are also related to general insecurity in the north and, of course, Nigeria.
On the Jos main market destroyed by fire in 2007, the governor said Plateau lacks the capacity to rebuild it.
In Plateau State, one of the things that was keeping us was the Jos main market, which was burned down. And up to this moment, it's difficult for us to rebuild that market. You know, market is very essential to people. I have tried in several ways, but definitely as a father, I also came to him. And I said, I need also support. The assessment so far is between 12 to 15 billion to rebuild that market.
And on COVID-19, Governor Lalong told the president that northern governors have resolved to lead by example as regards the expected vaccination.
When the vaccine comes, we should be the first to to show example. We are ready to offer ourselves for vaccination. So we are now drumming up efforts in sensitization. We had quarrels with some of our colleagues who said they don't believe in it. And my question is, if the president believes in it, who else will say he doesn't believe in it?
He said in the last 2 weeks alone, for instance, no fewer than 8 prominent Plateau indigents died of COVID-19. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
To other issues now, the Independent National Electoral Commission has called on the members of the National Assembly to ensure that the amendments in the ongoing Electoral Act Repeal and Reenactment Bill are considered when presented on the floor, as this will significantly improve Nigeria's electoral process. The chairman of the Electoral Commission, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, was speaking during the consideration of the report at the National Assembly Technical Committee on Electoral Act Repeal Bill. Ignatius Oko reports.
On Tuesday, the 26th of this month, the National Assembly Joint Committee on the Independent National Electoral Commission and Electoral Matters received the report of its technical committee on the bill seeking to repeal the Electoral Act No. 6 of 2010. 3 days after, the Parliamentary Committee has commenced the consideration of recommendations contained in the report.
It is also important to note that whatever is to be crafted in the electoral bill will be done with the primacy of the Nigerian Constitution.
The bill addressed many loopholes in the Nigerian electoral system by way of amending over 300 clauses.
The Independent National Electoral Commission observed that some recommendations in the amendment, if passed, will significantly improve Nigeria's electoral process.
One of the provisions that actually excites me a lot, parties will conduct their primaries and submit the names of their candidates to the commission at least 6 months to the next general election. This will enormously help us.
Similarly, the Senate Constitutional Review Committee has commenced review of the memoranda submitted by members of the public, the report of the 2014 National Conference, and the report of the APC Ad Hoc Committee on True Federalism.
We have decided in the leadership of the Senate that your work product must be ready for presentation on the floor of the Senate plenary in June.
The committee received 254 memoranda on various proposals, including state creation and local government autonomy. Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
Still staying with the National Assembly, President Muhammadu Buhari has communicated the appointment of the new service chiefs to the National Assembly, seeking the confirmation of the newly appointed officers by the Senate. The Senior Special Assistant to the President on National Assembly Matters, Senator Babajide Omowarare, in a statement said President Buhari wrote for the confirmation of the service chiefs in furtherance of Section 18, subsection 1 of the Armed Forces Act, laws of the Federation of Nigeria. Senator Omowarare allayed the fears in certain quarters that President Buhari bypassed the National Assembly in the process of appointing the service chiefs and that he has no intention of seeking confirmation of the appointment. He explained that President Buhari, in a letter to the President of the Senate dated 27th January 2021, sought confirmation of the Senate for the appointments of General Loki Irabo as the Chief of Defense Staff, Major General Ibrahim Atairu as Chief of Army Staff, Rear Admiral Awal Gambo as Chief of the Naval Staff, and Air Vice Marshal Ishaku Amau as Chief of the Air Staff. He explained that it is on record that the same procedure was adopted when the immediate past service chiefs were appointed, whereby upon announcement of the appointment of the then service chiefs, the President wrote the 8th Senate on 14th January 2015 for their confirmation. Meanwhile, Major General Lucky Irabo, a 2-star general, assumes office as the new Chief of Defense Staff, just as 4-star General Aboyomi Oloni-Shakin, the 16th Chief of Defense Staff, bows out. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa was at the Defense Headquarters, Abuja, venue of the historic event.
This brief but symbolic ceremony ushers in a new dawn at the Defense Headquarters, the central coordinating organ of the nation's armed forces. Major General Lucky Irabo, a dogged fighter that has commanded the multinational joint task force and Operation Lafia Dole, steps in as the Chief of Defense Staff, while General Abayomi Oloni-Shakin bows out after 5 years, 6 months, and 13 days in office. Major General Irabo, the 17th Chief of Defense Staff, a trained engineer from the Signal Corps and immediate Chief of Training and Operations at the Defense Headquarters, is a member of the 34 Regular Corps of the Nigerian Army.
After now, the service chiefs will be meeting with me in my office for us to address a few issues.
The former Chief of Defense Staff expressed gratitude.
With the support of the political leadership and indeed all Nigerians, the armed forces of Nigeria under my leadership was able to reclaim all territories that were there under the control of the Boko Haram.
The ceremony climaxed with the lowering and hoisting of flags. From the Defense Headquarters in Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
After more than 5 years of what the presidency has described as meritorious service, the ex-service chiefs of the Navy and Air Force have formally handed over to incumbent Chief of Naval Staff Rear Admiral Awal Gambo and the Chief of the Air Staff Air Marshal Oladayo Amao, who have assumed office this Friday. Defense correspondent Naya Achutijani tells us more.
Over the mantle of leadership, which for the Navy is the telescope, along with the ensign, outgoing Chief of Naval Staff Vice Admiral Ibokete Ekwebaz has high hopes for the incumbent Rear Admiral Awal Gambo.
Choose the path of honor in clear appreciation of the essence of service to your fatherland. On this note, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, and as time has beckoned for me now, I want to assure you that I am moving on with great satisfaction in what we have accomplished together.
I want to assure the outgoing Chief of the Naval Staff, sir, that I am going to uphold the good works that he has begun and ensure that we move the Nigerian Navy to yet greater heights.
Lowering and rehoisting the flag or the change of guard ceremony signifying the end of official duty for Vice Admiral Ibaz, and assumption of the new chief followed the handing over ceremony. Similarly, at headquarters, Nigerian Air Force, the outgoing Chief Air Marshal Sadiq Baba Abubakar formally handed over to the incumbent Air Vice Marshal Oladayo Amao.
So I am very confident, my chief, that you have what it takes to move the Air Force to a much higher level. My prayers are with you, and my prayers are with all the officers and men of the Nigerian Air Force.
Since the Nigerian Air Force is a continuum and our mission remains the same, be rest assured, sir, that we will work assiduously to consolidate on the already made gains while charting a new course to take the Nigerian Air Force to the next and higher pride of place.
I came, I saw, I conquered, I fought the good fight, I ran my course. Those words can be ascribed to the outgoing Chief of the Air Staff, Air Marshal Sadiq Baba Abubakar, in whose time so many developmental projects took place. And now all eyes are on the new service chiefs to see what they can bring to the table. Naja'atu Tijani, NTA News.
Thank you, Naja'atu. Now, Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed says the appointment of new service chiefs for the nation's armed forces is a vindication of President Muhammadu Buhari's avowed commitment to ending insecurity and other forms of criminality in the country. The minister stated this at a media interaction with newsmen in Abuja. Anthony Fosun reports.
Recalling President Muhammadu Buhari's New Year Day broadcast to the nation, where he promised to re-energize and reorganize the nation's armed forces to enhance their capacity to engage, push back and dismantle operations of both internal and external extremists and criminal groups waging war against communities in parts of the country, the Information and Culture Minister, Lai Mohammed, assured Nigerians to remain steadfast with the president's assurance. So, with the appointment of new service chiefs for the nation's armed forces, Lai Mohammed says the new service chiefs are square pegs in square holes.
He has made the right choice, given the information at his disposal, his background also, as a military officer and as a general, and the fact that as the chief security officer of the country, he is privy to many information that me and you will not be privy to. Secondly, what we know and what we read is that these new service chiefs are not new to the theater. They're not new to the theaters of conflict.
On COVID-19 and the progress made so far to access vaccines, the minister said government is not resting on its oars as traditional and religious leaders are being mobilized to ensure that the exercise is embraced by all.
We must disabuse our minds from the campaign of naysayers that the vaccine is dangerous, that the vaccine can cause impotency, that the vaccine is actually meant to depopulate some parts of the world. Some people, some parts of the world. No. I think we need to educate ourselves.
The first consignment of the COVID-19 vaccines is expected in February. In the meantime, the federal government is also in talks with regional, continental, and global bodies on how to access larger quantity of COVID-19 vaccines. In Abuja, Anthony Forson.
And Lieutenant General Tukur Yusuf, the 20th Chief of Army Staff, formally pulls out of service. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa was at the Mogadishu cantonment venue of the historic event.
For 40 years, he served in the Nigerian Army, reaching the peak about 5.5 years ago. Now it is time to bow out, and the military, in line with tradition, is giving him a befitting goodbye.
He also attended
This ceremonial pulling out service for Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai began with the traditional review of parade and the valedictory speech.
Today is a day of appreciation and not a stock taking, but let me put on record that I left the Nigerian Army better than I met it. The Nigerian Army, under my leadership, was able to achieve great feats in the fight against insurgency in the country.
A book titled The Legend of Buratai Volume 2 was also presented to the public.
The first chapter of the book, which is entitled In the Beginning, is a narrative of the origins and background of the former Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Buratai.
And for the final time, the colleagues of General Buratai pulled him out of service. From the Mogadishu cantonment in Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
Coming up on the news, Presidency alerts Nigerians on plot of smear campaign as the Sultan meets Mieti Allah on State of the Nation. Do stay with us.
JJ has always been my father's hero. So this year, I wanted to do something really special. If I could just talk to JJ, I'm sure he would remember Dad. Mom says never give up. Hello JJ, it's me Victor. My dad's birthday is coming up soon and I want to surprise him. And she was right. I have been looking for you everywhere. Please help me.
Hi Samuel, happy birthday, it's JJ. Happy birthday to my man.
My dad is my hero, but now JJ is too.
Glow, the best data plans in town. Find your first. Dial *777#. Glow.
When times are tough, we know that as a mother, one thing you should never compromise on is your family's oral health, because they deserve the best. Oral-B, all-round protection. Its great value, it protects your mouth from harmful bacteria and also protects you against tooth holes and gum problems which can lead to tooth loss. It strengthens your family's teeth and gives them all-round protection. So remember, protect their future. Oral-B for healthier, stronger teeth in just 1 week.
For you to tanda for this world, you got know what's up. Sabi waiting day ground, then start to do your run. Get ginger to sabi every. Because when you fit see the different side of the world, anything they possible. BBC News for Pidgin, make your life better.
Mommy is back.
Guess what's inside?
Chocolate. Biscuit.
our new toothpaste, Colgate Maximum Cavity Protection.
Why are we changing our toothpaste?
Because with Colgate Maximum Cavity Protection, I can be sure your teeth are cavity-free.
Cavity? What cavity?
Let me show you.
Most toothaches are caused by tooth holes called cavities. When you brush daily with Colgate Maximum Cavity Protection, its expert formula locks natural calcium in our teeth and helps protect them from cavity.
It also has natural mint for minty fresh breath every day.
Mom, can I eat chocolates now?
As long as you brush with Colgate Maximum Cavity Protection.
Colgate is the world's most chosen toothpaste.
Colgate locks calcium in.
Keeps cavities out!
Recommended by the Nigerian Dental Association.
I bring you wonderful news. The village headmaster is coming back to your screen. Mo wire abi mi o wire.
Teacher yo mo, a fẹ́ lọ wá nǹkan jẹ. Teacher yo mo, a fẹ́ lọ wá nǹkan jẹ. Ọmọ onírẹsì ti dé.
Ajebo na better school for last gidi. Not be all this on a rugged yes school for Ijabi. I don't know for you.
Second, it's called Oja Village. Kadesi. We no happy at all.
And I know that even you too, you are getting a lot of orders. Hey, we are trying, Shao. Sweep her leg out. She was standing there. Sweep it.
I love you so much.
And how did I give you the impression that I was interested in that position?
50-year anniversary.
You mean anniversary?
I mean, I talk with that now.
Not for me. Not for me because of Pamio.
Their first win in the Premier League, Sheffield United travelled to the Etihad Stadium to take on second-place Manchester City. Will they get a reality check, or can they pull off the upset? Find out as Manchester City welcomes Sheffield United on the Premier League Live, showing this Saturday on the NTA network from 3:30 p.m. The Premier League Live is brought to you by Axis Bank, Babai Jebu, Lipton, and Close Up, in association with Gold.com.
Thanks for joining us. The presidency says there is compelling reason to alert the nation of another orchestrated smear campaign against President Muhammadu Buhari, using some online newspapers and blogs. In a statement by Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Femi Adesina, the presidency says the campaign, which is to be launched anytime soon through editorials and purported special investigative stories, is designed to further exacerbate tension in the land by portraying the president as pandering to ethnic and other primordial tendencies contrary to his pledge to belong to all Nigerians. Impeccable security findings indicate that those behind the plot have procured online blogs and newspapers, as well as the support of opinion leaders who will launch coordinated publications alleging subjugation and suppression of a particular religion and ethnic group, while making the public to believe that the president continues to place members of his ethnic nationality in sensitive positions, such as to confer undue advantage on them, an allegation not supported with reasonable facts and figures. The presidency notes that President Buhari, at a meeting with the Nigerian Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs led by Sultan of Sokoto, Alhaji Muhammad Saad Abubakar, restated his even-handedness on the issues of ethnicity and religion, saying Nigerians should beware of those who are bent on stoking ethnic and religious unrest in the country. Meanwhile, the Sultan of Sokoto, Mohammed Saad Abubakar, is leading genuine and concerted efforts to complement government's efforts at finding lasting solutions to Nigerian security challenges. To this end, the Sultan met with national leadership of Mieti Allah Cattle Breeders Association and 36 states and FCT chairmen of the association in Abuja to dialogue on ways of ending conflicts with their members. Alhaji Muhammad Saad Abubakar, who doubles as the chairman board of trustees of Mieti Allah Cattle Breeders Association and that of the Nigerian Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs, is seeking an end to the involvement of some Fulani in banditry and kidnappings in the country, resulting in stigmatization and profiling of the Fulanis. Special advisor to Sultan, Dr. Osman Bugaji, briefed the media after meeting.
There is going to be a genuine search for solution, that will engage government, that will engage the Fulani leaders, that will engage the non-Fulani leaders, that will engage the criminal elements, that will begin to engage every stakeholder in this terrible business that we are trying to resolve. And there are timelines put to it, because we need to, get this done with maximum 1 year from now, if all the stakeholders are ready to cooperate.
A communique is expected at the end of the meeting, which will be forwarded to the government for consideration and possible implementation. The Nigerian Interfaith Dialogue Forum for Peace says President Muhammadu Buhari's choice of service chiefs is a clear demonstration of tireless commitment to end the dark era of sleepless nights in parts of the country. Abubakar Usman Akwanga reports that this was at a media briefing to review major security activities in the country.
The interreligious body appreciates the well-informed choice of President Muhammadu Buhari in the appointment of new service chiefs, which fulfilled the collective desire of ending the cycle of destructive elements in the country. Interfaith Dialogue Forum for Peace urged the service chiefs to brace to the national assignment and ensure the restoration of peace, stability and economic prosperity of the land.
As a country with all forms of opportunities, which if well harnessed, will bring about desired positive change, progress and development to all parts of the country, as well as project our nation as a force to be reckoned with among the Committee of Nations.
The religious organization appealed to leaders at all levels to desist from inflammatory and uncharitable remarks capable of undermining the progress achieved.
As a people of faith, it is our religious duty to make the difference in promoting peace, messages, and encouraging the culture of faith in action.
The body condemned the negative use of social media to fuel hatred and disunity instead of leveraging on all its platforms to strengthen national integration and development. In Abuja, Abubakar Usman Akwanga, NTA News.
Stakeholders are calling for a better engagement of community leaders and residents in achieving peace in the troubled Northeast region. Next year, SPD, after a 2-year research, wants a review of strategy in engaging insurgents through technology with special participation of affected communities. David Arya reports.
Over 35,000 lives have been lost, with about 2 million people displaced and now refugees within and outside the country in the last decade due to activities of insurgents in the northeast. While crisis in the region has continued unabated, stakeholders are concerned about ways of returning peace and enhancing development among the people who have lost their means of livelihood and family members to insurgency.
Any strategy we take must be community-based. It must be one that emanates from the community. Peace is like a marriage between a man and a woman. The romance must be there.
Working with communities and institutions actually presents an opportunity for government to win the hearts and minds of the people.
Assessment of the role of government in restoring peace to the region through military intervention revealed some levels of sabotage among residents and security agencies. Hence, concerted efforts are needed to tackle the menace.
We are hopeful that either through fatigue, the people will give up, or through the renewed vigor that we are anticipating from the new service chiefs, probably new strategies will be adopted.
The researchers who are working in partnership with the European Union and British Embassy also want non-governmental organizations and religious bodies better engaged to win the war against insurgency across the country. In Abuja, David Ire, NTA News.
More on security as we join Kemi in our Ibadan studio. Hello, Kemi.
And welcome to Ibadan. The need for residents of Ibarakwa community to provide intelligent, reliable and credible information to security agencies in order to end the crisis in the area has been emphasized. This was the crux of the security summit held in Ibadan, the state capital, in view of the criminality in the area. Rofia Animashan Badmos has more.
Highlighting issues involved in the security challenges between farmers and herdsmen in Ibarakwa and other parts of the state. Speakers at the summit said residents must identify their common enemy and align properly to ensure peace.
Set down in the state level and the local government level, all those committees will sign it before you allocate your land for anybody.
They must identify and show anybody that's into criminality is within their area.
Security stakeholders in the state noted that the summit enunciated means of dialogue and wider consultation among the parties to put an end to criminality in the area.
There's a kind of mistrust. They think that the response has not been prompt enough. And all these things are behind your hand.
It's only with peace we'll have progress in our states. And if everybody keys into what we are talking about today, I know very well, Oyo as a pace setter, we keep going forward.
We will all be able to talk and we know how to move about and get peace.
Traditional institutions, groups, and individuals have been urged to say security as everybody's business in Ibadan. Rofia Animashan Badmos, NTA News.
Members of the public have been warned against the activities of fraudsters masquerading as ritualists to lure their victims with get-rich-quick schemes. Commissioner of Police Ogun State, Edward Ajogun, gave the warning as he led a team to uncover a shrine in Ijagun area of Ijebu-Ode. Joel Bukwola reports that over 1 million naira was recovered from the suspects.
But who specialize in production of fake foreign currencies and other get-rich-quick schemes have been carrying out their nefarious activities in this shrine, where their victims are made to take oath of secrecy to instill fear in them. The Commissioner of Police, Edward Ajogun, while on the spot assessment visit to the shrine with journalists, said the hideout was discovered following a tip-off by one of their victims, Imole Ayuashade, who was defrauded of 1,310,000 naira by the suspect.
Robber, kidnappers or whatever, you and your hideout or your den will eventually be fished out and your criminal enterprises stopped.
Imole Ayo narrated our deal in the hands of the suspects.
So they now said, can I do the last sacrifice or what they did? I said, I don't understand. They requested for 4 million naira. They gave me soap though that day, but I decided not to use that soap. I'm tired of using any soap to bathe. That's when I came to my senses.
The suspects who confessed to the crime confirmed that they collected money from the lady. The special advisor to the governor on security matters said the state government will take necessary actions on the hideouts. In Ijebu-Ode, Joel Bukwola, NTA News.
And that's it from Ibadan. Jummai, it's back to you.
Thank you, Kemi. President Muhammadu Buhari has approved the reappointment of Mrs. Folashade Joseph as the Managing Director, Nigerian Agricultural Insurance Corporation. The new appointment is for second and final term of 4 years with effect from 11th April 2021. Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development Mohammed Sabo Nanono, in the letter conveying the new appointment, says it was in recognition of her dedication and immense contribution to the upliftment of the Nigerian Agricultural Insurance Corporation during her first term in office. The minister urged Mrs. Joseph to continue to bring to bear her wealth of experience on the activities of the corporation. Time now to join Adiola in our Lagos studio for more reports. Hello, Adiola. It's good to see you.
Hello, Jummai. Good to see you too. Now, to support the federal government's drive in revamping national economy, stakeholders in the maritime sector are to put together a transport policy that will enhance productivity across the various subsectors of the industry. Diana Ajale was at a program in Lagos where experts converged to review and update the draft policy document ahead of its presentation to the public.
Nigeria is endowed with a vast maritime space and resources, contributing an average of 1.6% to the nation's GDP. In spite of the huge potential inherent in the industry, the reality here is that the sector has not been able to meet the target owing to lack of effective policy documents that contains genuine, reliable and updated data which can stand the test of time.
It has increasingly become a reality that the maritime sector cannot be administered successfully without a policy document that can serve the time and season that we are in, and even generations to come.
The maritime sector needs to be properly positioned to take its place as Nigeria's key foreign exchange earner.
With the buy-in of the stakeholders in the Western Command, we will do a similar thing in the Eastern Command at the end of February. We should be coming up with a clean document before the end of the first quarter of 2021.
The document, as presented, will undergo critical analysis with special reference to economic opportunities for growth.
The maritime policy would enhance on transparency and accountability within the maritime and shipping industry as a whole.
There's a need for us to improve and develop the resources we have with water to be able to improve the economy. If it is well developed, it will not only ease the traffic because that will increase productivity, but will also create more jobs and increase revenue to the government. That is as far as waterway is concerned.
Key players are optimistic that the meeting will bring about a robust and holistic policy document that can change the fortune of the Nigerian maritime domain. In Lagos, Diana Ajale, NTA News.
Now to the update on the third Mainland Bridge. In a few hours from now, at precisely midnight today, motorists will no longer be able to use the third Mainland Bridge for their daily commute for the next 3 days, as the bridge will be totally shut down for yet another round of casting of expansion joints. Dotun Oguyemi reports.
After months since its initial closure for repairs on July 24, 2020, the Third Mainland Bridge has been a subject of discourse as work on the 3.5-kilometer stretch of the road continues. With 8 out of the 12 identified expansion joints already fixed, the attention of the contractors shifted to 3 critical joints which have now been changed and ready for casting, necessitating yet another closure, this time for 72 hours.
The closure is going to be from 12 midnight of a Friday, and it will be for 72 hours. And the bridge will now be open to traffic by 12 midnight of Monday. That is early morning of Tuesday. So we need about 72 hours to do the casting. And this is because where we are standing, as you can see it, this is Adekunle ramp. You can see the Adekunle ramp and then the main carriageway, they are connected together. So this gives us about 28 meters length of the expansion joint, as against the 14 meter that we have been doing so far.
The last expansion joint, which would now be where the work on the phase 1 actually started, which is the Lagos Island bound lane, would now be where work will be moved to, as the last expansion joints would be fixed before the bridge is finally reopened to the motoring public by the 15th of February 2021. Aside the changing of expansion joints, the contractors are also fixing potholes and have concluded lane markings on the first phase of the project. In Lagos, Dotun Okunyemi, NTA News.
We're not done from here, as Abolade Salam is standing by for business news.
Thank you so much, Adela. Good evening and welcome to the Business News segment. Accelerating Nigeria's economic growth pace in 2021 will require an enhanced fiscal and monetary policies that will promote development and encourage more private capital inflows into the economy. President Industry Toki Mabugunje, while analyzing the country's economic performance, pointed to the need for policymakers to sustain the non-oil revenue drive due to the volatility of crude oil price with a view to ensuring macroeconomic stability.
Sense of major shocks, the Lagos Chamber expects the economy to return to a positive growth path in the second quarter of year 2021.
We feel that if you have a foreign exchange market that is more market-driven, where there is unification of rates, the level of the crisis will be minimized because there are likely to be better inflows and possibly even a reduction in the demand pressure.
With the persistence of global pandemic, Mabugunje said this serves as risk of disruption to business operations, urging policymakers, entrepreneurs, and investors to be strategic in their approach. The Central Bank of Nigeria says it is committing 50 billion naira to reposition the Nigerian Commodity Exchange within the next 90 days. The Committee for the Reposition of the Nigerian Commodity Exchange said the Apex Bank also plans to revalidate its 95.7% majority shareholding in the exchange to enable it to implement far-reaching measures, including the reconstruction of its board and committees. It reiterated that the federal government, through the CBN, had implemented several intervention schemes in the agriculture and manufacturing sectors. The scheme, emphasized, is aimed at boosting employment generation and wealth creation to reduce dependence on imported food items, conserve the nation's foreign exchange earnings to spur economic growth. And on to the Nigerian stock market. Nigerian capital market sustains its bullish run as the market closed the week on a green territory, appreciating by 0.58%. Details in this report.
Appreciated by 0.58% to close the all-share index at 42,412.66 basis point, valued at 6.5 billion naira, which swapped hands in 6,663 deals, while the equities cap stood at 22.1 trillion naira. MTN Nigeria, with 3.43%, led the table, followed by Adrova and Vitafoam, appreciating by 8.57%, while Stanbic, with 3.43% loss, led the decliners table, followed by CAP and WAPCO, depreciating by 2.44% and 0.99%. On the activity chart, NSE Banking, Consumer Goods, Insurance and Oil and Gas all appreciated in figures by 0.52%, 0.73%, 0.32% and 0.63%, while the industrial sector declined by 0.08%.
And that's a wrap on business news. Jummai and Abuja will be back with the rest of the news after this short time out. Please stay with us.
Dear customer, link your Airtel number to your national identification number today. Here are easy ways you can do it. Dial *121*1# on your Airtel line and follow the prompts on the screen. Type in your 11-digit government-approved NIN number. You will receive a confirmation message to confirm your entry. You can also visit www.airtel.com.ng/NIN to link your phone number to your NIN. If you do not know your NIN, simply dial *346# to get it. No stress, no wahala.
Airtel, the smartphone network. If life were a game, where every choice brought you closer to your dream, ask yourself, would you stay where you're unappreciated? Waiting for change to happen? Or would you somehow take that first step to changing things for yourself? At ARM Pensions, we believe in taking action, Because when it comes to your retirement goals, it's not about who you are. It's about who you play with. Join the team of more than just pension managers. Join the team that appreciates you. Switch to ARM Pensions today.
When times are tough, we know that as a mother, one thing you should never compromise on is your family's oral health, because they deserve the best. Oral-B, all-round protection. Its great value, it protects your mouth from harmful bacteria and also protects you against tooth holes and gum problems which can lead to tooth loss. It strengthens your family's teeth and gives them all-round protection. So remember, protect their future. Oral-B for healthier, stronger teeth in just 1 week.
This is the Wilson family last week. This is the Wilson family this week. What's changed? What? The Wilson family got maximum entertainment for less, and now they're closer than ever. Your family can be too.
How does this work?
With world-class international channels that put the quality back in your quality time.
That's what I'm talking about.
GoTV Max will bring you and your family closer in no time. So upgrade to GoTV Max for only 2,999 Naira today. Make you enjoy. GoTV. Love it.
After getting their first win in the Premier League, Sheffield United travelled to the Etihad Stadium to take on second-place Manchester City. Will they get a reality check, or can they pull off the upset? Find out as Manchester City welcomes Sheffield United on the Premier League Live, showing this Saturday on the NTA network from 3:30 p.m. The Premier League Live is brought to you by Axis Bank, Babai Jebu, Lipton, and Close Up, in association with Gold.com.
You're welcome back. Nigeria is on the right path in the implementation and actualization of the National Sugar Master Plan with the establishment of the National Sugar Institute, NSI. Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment Adini Adebayo expressed this optimism as the inauguration of the new institute in Ilorin, established by the National Sugar Development Council in partnership with sugar operators. Musbau Danwahab reports.
Produce more than the 1.5 tons of sugar it needs annually. Under the National Sugar Master Plan, 3 major operators selected have been working at it, developing various sugar estates and factories. But then, the National Sugar Development Council and partners believe the need to shore up the suitable skilled manpower to manage their factories is equally important.
Review of the Nigeria Sugar Master Plan in June 2017. Now, the dearth of critical and competent technical manpower for both field and factory operations was identified as a major constraint to the attainment of the goals of the NSMP. You have the offices for the faculties.
Barely 12 months after signing an MOU with an Indian company, the idea on paper has been translated into this edifice for the National Sugar Institute, sitting on 6 hectares of land at the cradle of sugar development in Nigeria, Kwara.
Thank you. The sugar industry holds a special place in Nigeria's industrialization story. It carries the expectations of creating over 100,000 jobs. And the National Nigeria Sugar Institute is one of the key instruments for ensuring its sustainability.
The state has the capacity to produce sugar for the entire West Africa. And with this development, we tend and strive for Kwara to be the epicenter of sugar production in Nigeria.
This is a mission well accomplished, because it will further boost industrialization.
Captains of the 3 core sugar operators who are expected to take over the funding and management of the institute expressed commitment while 36 candidates are currently under training as trainee instructors, field and factory operators in Mauritius and India. In Ilori, Musbao and Wahab, NTA News.
Now, the interim administrator of the Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, Effiong Oka, has ordered the immediate distribution of 36 waste disposal trucks, 162 industrial waste bins, and 2 marine ambulances to the 9 Niger Delta states. Dr. Oka gave the directive at the NDDC warehouse in Port Harcourt. Oshinachi Abraham reports.
The waste disposal trucks and industrial bins were acquired by the Niger Delta Development Commission to assist the various NDDC states in dealing with the problem of environmental pollution, littering of streets, and evacuation of debris to maintain a clean and serene environment. The NDDC boss on a tour of the warehouse at Oroworoko town frowned at the delay in the distribution of the equipment to the states and directed that they should be allocated to the various states before Monday, 1st of February.
You visit some places, the streets are littered. So these things are supposed to take off dirt from the streets and then keep a clean environment. This will promote investment in the Niger Delta. This will promote visitors and people who come in here to do their investment.
The marine ambulances, he specifically said, should be given to Rivers and Akwa Ibom state governments to enhance healthcare delivery in the riverine communities.
1,000 GVA should be given out also. It should not be here. It should not be here. The people need them. They need them for better use, and we have to give it out. That is what they were meant for. This is an interventionist agency to assist government, department, parastatals, individual states that have need for equipment of this nature. That was the major reason for which we acquired them and cannot be here.
The Niger Delta Development Commission's Acting Director, Environmental Protection and Control, Engineer Onoha Obeka, commended the administrator for the authorization and promised to carry out the directive immediately. In Port Harcourt, Osinachi Abraham, NTA News.
The Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC, and its investment partners have signed the final investment decision for the Brass Fertilization and Petrochemical Company Limited. Minister of State Petroleum Resources Temipre Silva stated this in line with the federal government resolve to continue to maximize value by harnessing and monetizing stranded gas in Nigeria as part of efforts to deepen gas utilization and create employment across the value chain. Letia Samson tells us more.
Brass Fertilizer and Petrochemical Company will help harness Nigeria's huge gas resources through the development and construction of the first ever methanol plant in Nigeria. This, key players say, is a critical step that will change the 100% narrative of methanol import base of the country.
Following our enormous achievements in 2020, I can assure you that we will not relent in our resolve to make gas the major economic driver of our dear nation.
For the GMD NNPC, it is significant that despite the COVID-19 impact and challenges, the FID on the Brass Fertilizer and Petrochemical Company is the 5th FID taken by NNPC and its partners.
It's a testimony that the commitments of the federal government of Nigeria to monetize and deepen gas utilization in our country, to increase domestic gas utilization, and of course, ultimately creating value for the 200 million Nigerians is not in vain, and we are changing thoughts and dreams to reality.
In line with the COVID-19 new normal, some indigenous and international partners joined virtually. They are unanimous that the Brass Fertilizer Company will play a critical role in dousing host community agitation with their engagement through employment.
There cannot be growth in local content when there is drought or projects.
Bayelsa State Deputy Governor gave the commitment of the state as the host community to cooperate in ensuring the success of the project.
Carry us along. Provided you carry us along, we are sure we'll get there with you.
He called for improved road network from Nimbe to Brass for greater impact and access. In Abuja, Lydia Sampson, NTA News.
The National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons is constructing housing units and providing financial support to displaced persons in Zamfara and Plateau states. Gufan Shaji compiled the distribution exercise in the two states.
The distribution of relief materials in Zamfara state is part of the federal government's commitment to providing a more meaningful livelihood for the internally displaced persons. Sadia Bubakar Tuna reports that this achievement is through skills acquisition programs and financial support to them.
The support of the Central Bank of Nigeria has commenced another empowerment program as part of the durable solutions for displaced persons known as Project Reliance.
Meanwhile, in Sokoto, Shehu Muhammad Dati reports that maintenance items were distributed to the internally displaced persons at Isa and Sabombrini local governments.
About the houses that are building for some states, in fact, we are pleading for those commissions to bring the same quarter, the house into our constituency.
The initiative is part of the federal government's effort at lifting 100 million Nigerians out of poverty. In Abuja, Gufan Shaji, NTA News.
And now, sports update.